an obligation of the parliament to the people. There are obligations within that law that makes the central bank to report on 6 monthly basis to the parliament on its activities. It currently is not doing that, and the parliament is insisting that that must happen. 2, the whole process of appropriation. The parliament is saying by the amendment bill that it is seeking that it might be required once in a year for the parliament to have a bird's eye view of what the financial plans and projections of the central bank is for point of information. That is the position of the parliament to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much. We will have to begin to wind down now, and I guess Salera's got a couple of things.
We'll just take some reactions from home, and this one is from Daniel Ukbabe, who says, what will be the effect on the economy if the CBN takes out of circulation 1,000 naira, 500 naira, and 200 naira notes, and vigorously pursues a cashless internet fund movement policy for people who may require to move funds around?
You want me to try that?
Yes. Can you read in one sentence?
In one sentence, I think that, see, we were not born with this cashless thing, right? You know, Nigerians have been all about is cashless or nothing. And number one, I would say that there's nothing wrong if CBN pursues a reduction in their cash management expenses and cashless at the same time. But not everybody is going to go cashless. Okay. Even in the Europe and America that we'd like to talk about, not everybody is cashless. There are many shops that would also actually require from you, you know, if you can, pay some cash. You know, and if you look at the level of literacy in Nigeria, we should not hope that there's going to be a 90% cashless absorption rate and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if they do that, to a large extent, what will actually happen is that you will have to, if there's still the level of illiteracy in the country, if the infrastructures are not on ground, if your IT is giving you issues and so on, then you will have to print a whole lot more of 100 naira, 50 naira, and what have you. And therefore, there'll be a spike in your cash management expenditure. You probably will spend 100 billion every year or so in order to print currency.
Okay. And you, the people, will have to be carrying suitcases of money around.
Certainly,
Very quickly, one other comment here is either a comment or a question. Is the CBN printing these new notes to create more business for bankers who now engage in brisk currency trading? You go into this bank and can't get mint 50 naira or 100 naira note and so on, but they are being hawked at parties or sold under the various bridges in Lagos. You want to comment on this? I can see Mr. Heriboy is smiling.
Well, I'm aware that people exchange old notes for new notes, or go to the banks and ask for new notes and pay a premium, and they also sell the money.
Should we be
pay a premium at the bank?
To the people who give them the mint notes, it's not for free. It's not, you know, and then they go out and sell at about 10% profit or something like that. That, of course, you know, you'll find that most functions and all that. But I think the important thing we mustn't lose sight of when we talk about money is always the issue of value. The question is not the printing of higher and higher denomination notes, or printing of lower and lower denomination notes, or indeed redenomination, as the case may even be, because all these neither instigate nor reduce inflation. But having said so, if you had an increased velocity of circulation as a result of higher denomination notes, which are people try to unbundle very quickly, the same effect you would have is an extension in money supply. At the same time, you would have a situation where, for example, if you had 10 naira and each one of us had a 10 naira, we didn't spend it for a year. But if we spend our 1 naira the moment we get it and the next person spends it, it's the same thing as expanding money supply, and you would also have inflation. So technically, it's not really too correct to say that just because, so long as you don't, if all things being equal, so long as you don't increase the velocity of circulation, yes. So the issue about this is not so much the quantum or the size of the notes or whatever, it is the value. And you will never be able to improve the value of the naira or reduce the rate of inflation without reducing the scourge of excess liquidity that has been with us for for so long and makes it necessary for the central bank to borrow money that it does not need.
Mr. Nwane.
As a researcher, I just have few comments to make at this point. One is that currently Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is conducting a robust survey on the impact. How far have the cashless policy fared in Lagos? Of course, we're still on the pilot phase, and the aim of CBN is to see how to roll it out in some other major cities by next year. So the report is going to come out by mid of next month, and it's going to be well publicized. We'll have a conference where we let it out, and we should be able to answer a whole lot of questions about infrastructure, acceptability, impact on business, and all of those. What I keep on telling people about is that Nigeria doesn't want to spend coin. I say, can we try a different thing? I'm always interested in a new model. And I say, can we coin the highest currency we have?
Thank you.
Today, 1,000. By then, you're already building. If you coin 1,000 naira notes, sir, nobody will force you to take it. Nobody will force you to. But the argument is saying that the trend in the world is that you coin lower denomination, and why can't we do something different? And tomorrow we see people coming to copy us here.
There's a £2 coin.
Exactly, there in the UK. Can't we coin the 5,000 naira note if we're still pursuing that, and see that people will gradually begin to change their psyche about coins? And before you know what is that, maybe after 4 or 5 years, we go back
Are
to
you saying that would make them accept lower denomination coins like Kobos?
later. Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying how do we.
I think that's
no, it's
No,
just a trial.
because it has no value.
Exactly.
I think it's a function of the value.
It's the value. That's what I'm saying. It's because of the value. And since 1,000 naira still have some value, can't we start by coining the 1,000 naira highest denomination?
Or 500.
I was speaking with somebody
Those
from a director from Central Bank of Zambia on Thursday, and he said he was laughing at the 5,000 naira debate. He said in Zambia their highest currency is 50,000 naira of their local currency, and now they are yanking out 2 zeros and way. So those are the issues. The challenge is not the currency.
Okay.
It is the value. And we have
as
to
part
work
of
on the
wrapping
value.
up, then your final word.
My final word is, like I said before, please let us all have open minds, and let us be take sentiments out of it. Let us be ready to dialogue. Let us be ready to try new ideas, like the lawyer has said. One of the things I've seen, though, is that redenomination will as in the case of Ghana, some people have put that forward, really. But what has happened with Ghana between 2007 and now, when they redenominated and took out 4 zeros from their currency, is that their currency has actually devalued from 9,200 cedi, as it used to be, to the dollar, to 19,200 cedi to the dollar. Okay, it's now 1.92 Ghana cedi to the dollar. So it's been a free fall for them. So you see, fine, it's not every policy that operates next door that can work in Nigeria. However, it's not everything that we do or that our government does that is bad also. You see, people say that when we are weeping, we should also see, otherwise we get into the gutter.
Thank you very
so we
much.
should just reduce the amount of anger on the street. Thank you, exactly.
Your final word, Mr. Boyer.
Well, it's the same thing Mr. Fashwell said, in the sense that the value is most important. The Ghana redenomination took place just 2-3 years ago. But what you find now is inflation has eroded the currency once more. So the real problem, as I keep emphasizing, is inflation. How do you control inflation? And central bank's core mandate is how to control inflation. And since we are here, they've not succeeded in controlling inflation for over 30 years. They have failed in their mandate, and they have failed because they've been unable to manage the ever-present scourge of excess liquidity, which incidentally they themselves create when they substitute create, whatever word you like to use. Excess liquidity is created by central bank substitution of naira for dollar allocations, and that instigates inflation and makes it necessary for you to be chasing either redenomination or higher denomination notes, as the case may be. So if you want to tackle this issue, what you have to do is ensure that central bank does not create the excess liquidity that it does every time and then goes back to borrow. This is serious. And borrow money that you don't need, and you confidently tell the world that you're borrowing money that you don't need as high as 15%.
Okay, your final word. Would you agree with that as well?
My final, I'm not even going towards that direction. My final word is that we are Nigerians. We have to build institutions. If the reform we are talking about is aimed towards building institutions, at the private sector level, who I represent here, will buy into it, provided it is not building individual or building a particular set of, if it is institutional, something that will live after everybody in the legislative chamber today, something that is going to live after everybody at the board of CBN today, we will buy into it. And that is how it's going to affect Nigerians positively. How is it going to create jobs? How will the economy grow? It's as simple as that.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've been talking about the CBN autonomy. We have digressed a little bit into the 5,000 naira note and a number of other issues concerning the Central Bank of Nigeria. We want to say a big thank you to Senator Olubunmi Adetunbi, who spoke with us, who contributed quite a bit to the conversation today. He represents the Ekiti North as a member of the ACN in the Senate. Thanks to him. And then also, I'll start by also thanking Mr. Henry Boyo, the Economist, who's been on the show. Thank you very much. And then Vincent Nwani, who is the Director, Research and Advocacy, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Thank you very
Maybe
much.
you should change it to London. And then, of course, thank you very much for your contribution, Mr. Topper Fasua.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you
very much.
Well, the conversation is not going to end here. We're sure that a number of people will still have their opinion. Your tweets, we've not been able to take a lot of them. We just managed to get a couple of them. But please do keep them coming. Send it to at Sunrise Saturday, or you can send it to at Channels TV _NG, and you can send directly to me and at Kaide Akintemi. Sunrise continues. We're not going yet, but grab another cup of tea, make it fresh, and then join us as we start the next segment.